Hello, everybody, and welcome back, one and all, to the Chaos Protocol. I am so freaking excited to see all of your digital, non-existent faces in the chat of Transplanar RPG. We are, of course, as always, an all-transgender, people of color-led, dark fantasy actual play channel telling stories set in an original, non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. This means we stand against genocide and ethnic cleansing and support all oppressed peoples of this world struggling against injustice, imperialism, and colonization. We must use our voices to build solidarity and fight for the worlds we wish to see. So to that end, free Sudan, free DRC, free Palestine, abolish ICE, and free all oppressed peoples of this world. Thank you. And thank you all for showing up to support our story. We're gonna get chaotic tonight. If you are watching this right now, you are witnessing the live recordings of Arc 4 episodes 3 and 4. We are currently co-streaming on Twitch and YouTube Live at Transplanar RPG, and all VODs will be hosted on our YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure before being uploaded to Vimeo and the Internet Archive. But first, please allow me to reintroduce my delectable cast for the evening, starting with our very own valiant Lovewinds Dorian.
Hello everyone, my name is Valiant, apparently delectable Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite little son of doom, a Sayer who uses he, they pronouns. I'm passing it over to Pop-Pop. How you doing, Pop-Pop?
Hi everyone, I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns, and tonight I am back as a man who is up Shit's Creek without a paddle. Thankfully, he has a team, Zan and Esh, who uses he, him pronouns. And I'm going to pass it on over to the person who has kept us alive thus far, and I apologize. Sam?
I appreciate that apology. I definitely need it. It is a job. Hi, hello everyone. I'm Samstar. I use she, they, and the occasional fae pronouns. And tonight I have the opportunity of being everyone's favoriteest chronologist slash medic, Lumira, who uses she, her pronouns. What's going on, boss?
It's a me, boss, and don't worry about why I called you delectable tonight. To start off our announcements, a massive thank you to our two major sponsors for Arc 4, Hero Forge and the Working Families Party. Hero Forge is a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. And Hero Forge now also offers 3D printed custom dice. That's right, you can put literally anything designable in Hero Forge into the clear material of the die and still get a perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. So you can come up rocking custom dice and your GM can't even accuse you of having it be weighted or for it to be unfair. So you can visit Hero Forge today at bit.ly/transforge. As for the Working Families Party, they are a progressive third party in the US, building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live in for everyone. You can take an action to effect change right now by signing their petition to break up big media companies and join their mailing list at bit.ly/WFPtrans. Just clicking on those links right now helps us a lot, and I highly recommend you check out both of our sponsors, and in particular, signing the petition for the Working Families Party, because as we all know, shit's really rough right now, and anything we can do to make shit a little bit less rough is, I think, a net good. Finally, a big ol' thank you to Chepeku for letting us use their scenes for this arc, as well as a big thank you to Explain Trade and Frivolous Bear Studios for continuing to be our channel-wide sponsors. Over to you, Val.
Absolutely. Hey folks, Patreon is the best way to support Transplanar and get cool perks. A huge thank you to our Patreon precepts for supporting our show. Thank you to Azra, Brooke, The Bow System, Lyle and Peanut, Mainman13, Mark J, Micah, Nalcessity, Robert Burke, Rose, Sergeant Danes, Spectra, Spencer, Squareheart, Taylor, and Zoe. Join their illustrious ranks and help us smash our member milestones at patreon.com/transplantrpg. Over to you, Kai.
Beyond the fiction of our stories, we must stand in solidarity with the people most affected by the ravages of climate disaster in our real world. Tonight, we're raising funds to support Jamaica to provide food, shelter, medical aid, and relief for those affected by Hurricane Melissa. Give what you can or boost to help us reach our $250 goal by using !donate in chat. Thank you so much for showing up, Transplay Nerds. Sam?
Last time on the Chaos Protocol. Strike Team Nova regroups after several days aboard the Apani Kestrel as they travel toward Kesseki. Zynon finally gives the team a goal and a brief look into his past. After intercepting a message about upcoming danger, the Oracle reappears and guides the Kestrel onward. Nova lays eyes on the husk of Kesseki and Oblivion just beyond. The team crash lands onto Kesseki and takes a step into the dusty apocalypse. Use !recap in chat to read our full written recap document. Now to Connie for some self-care tips.
Amazing! As a reminder, as always, the Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy actual play series that deals with content that may be triggering for some viewers. So content warnings for this session may include fantasy violence, crashes, survival and scarcity, environmental collapse, apocalypse, storms, monstrosity, body horror, blood, complex relationships, grief, romance, and references to classism, revolutionary violence, insects, and the loss of children. If you are in the Twitch chat, you can use !CW at any time to get a look at our content warnings, and if you're in the YouTube Live, our mods will be posting these content warnings every now and then to remind you of what to look out for. I'm gonna do a quick pause as my local recording software is freezing. But that's okay because I thought this would happen, so I have a backup recording going on my OBS because I'm smart like that. Yes, but I need to use Task Manager to kill this guy. So Task Manager, kill Audacity. Oh, that was fast. That was
a quick assassination.
Instantly dead. I'm just gonna I'm gonna do another instance of Audacity just in case. A backup for my backup to my backup. Because I don't want to make our editor's life much harder than it has to be. My Audacity is booting. It's coming up. I'm just gonna remove that new project. Oh. He's freezing again. This might be a sign. This might be a sign to just... Oh! Actually, she's okay now. I'm just gonna record. If you're listening to this, our lovely editor, it froze, but now I'm starting the show actually. So anything that comes after this point is actually what you need to worry about. Okay. If that happens again during the stream, I'm just gonna keep rocking forward because I'm gonna just count on the OBS. Okay. The title of tonight's episode is The Story Lies, Our Home is Rust. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chong. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Before dawn, the waters of Kagayaku Ocean are glistening and calm, even as they playfully lap at the pink sand beaches of Hane Bay. The air is heavy with salt. The effusive northern wind lashes southward, spurring shining waves to break against the wooden docks and seaweed blooms of the harbor. Inside the employee dormitories, the matron's voice is loud and insistent and familiar, as always, as she rouses the miners from slumber, rapping her cane against the wooden frame of each shared room as she stalks down the halls. There is a shuddering of doors, a creaking of many bare feet against tatami. Rubbing sleep from their eyes and chatting in low tones, the miners pull on their loincloths and tie colorful tenugui around their foreheads. A breakfast of brown rice, grilled fish, and pickled vegetables is quickly and eagerly scarfed down. Within minutes, the cohort is out the doors, past the courtyard, and trotting down the winding slopes that lead toward Hane Cove. A silk-lined basket dangles from each of their waists, secured to their loincloths by a single length of braided twine. Inside the cove, the pink sand is cold and wet between their toes. huddling against the rocks. The miners ready themselves for their work. They stretch and yawn, pulling the slumber out of their bodies. And then they approach the entryway, a sudden tumble of rock into a watery corridor. As per company policy, the senior miners go first, so they have top pick of the best veins. They are followed by the middle-ranking miners and finally the novices. One by one, the miners plunge into the icy waters of Kagayaku Ocean, heedless of the sudden chill that engulfs their bodies. As the miners swim, they tap the carbon fiber bracelets worn and woven around their wrists. A flexible neon panel beneath the twine lights up, making the miners look like they're carrying miniature stars through this darkened water. An air bubble rises from each bracelet, ballooning outward until its miner gently catches and guides it toward their face. The bubbles wrap around the noses, lips, and jaws of each miner, allowing them to breathe. Guided by the light of their nanobands, the pearl miners push deeper and deeper into the twisting coves of this cave. Outside, unbeknownst to them, the first rays of Kesseki's triple suns begins to breach the horizon, heralding the brief respite of day before a long and bitter night. From above, the wreck of the Apani Kestrel is a metallic black smear against an endless gray canvas. There is nothing to hear except the guttering roar of a broken engine. There is nothing to smell except the acrid tang of smoke, huge gouts of it venting into the dust-choked air. There is nothing to feel except the hard and parched earth against your shattered bodies. Zain and Esh, as you take your first trembling step back into your grave, your boot lands against firm and even ground. On the ground, you see long cracks, spiderwebbing against the earth, ranging in width from hairline fissures the size of your finger to wide, hazardous trenches that could swallow a mortal whole. The dust is thin here. You can see for dozens of feet in all directions. No, hundreds of feet. Thousands. Because the earth is flat and level with no hills, no dips, no rises, no nothing for miles and miles and miles in every single direction. You have no idea where you are, but you are certain of one thing. This ain't Haruna Valley. This isn't a valley at all. It is a flat and endless field. The Apani Kestrel crash-landed against cold, hard ground, and by some twisting laugh of fate, you're alive. Speaking of life, Lumira and Sayir, consciousness floods back into your bodies, and with it, pain. As you gasp into an awareness of your mangled physical form, please lose 1 hit point each. And tell me, where in the wreck do we find you, and how do you pull yourself from this crash site? Let's start with Sayir.
Sayir used their last action to hold Zynon taut. I think Sayir is under half a dozen metallic panels that were lining the engine room, as well as bits of railing that are shattered and bent in the impact that ensued from the crash. I think we find Sayir huddled down with the grappling hook, the hook itself, still around both of his fists. The rope now slack as Zynon has stepped forward, and as consciousness floods back into the Son of Doom, the way he's going to attempt to escape this particular conundrum is by using I think I'm going to describe the loss of his hit point as he's dislocated his shoulder. As there's one shoulder that's taken the huge brunt of the impact, and is also the shoulder that he was holding like a lever, Zynon taught. And as he attempts to move here, and realizing he can't push that shoulder anymore, uses his other arm to shove one of the panels up from over him, and he's just going to let himself like tumble forward in the little space he creates.
Yes, Sayer, you fall forward outside of this rubble, and there's a sharp, dull, aching, furious pain that rips through your dislocated rotator cuff as you fall forward. You have to put all of your weight on one other arm. Your dislocated one cannot possibly shoulder the burden. You can feel hot liquid trickling into your eyes. It's all the residue of sweat from being inside that hot, burning engine room. You breathe in very fine but sharp particulates of dust as you raise your eyes, blink through the sweat, and take in what's around you.
Nova, sound off!
And we pan across this crash site to find Lumira.
Lumira comes to, like, gritting her teeth in pain. I think in the midst of all of this, when the Kestrel crash landed, Lumira was holding on to, like, was bracing herself in the chair. And I think she ended up somehow literally getting thrown from the chair across the bridge, and is stuck. She's trying to move, but there's this really deep, like, violent pain in her leg, and she looks down, and some way, shape, or form, some random piece of rebarb metal from the control panel she's now impaled on it, in a sense, through her leg. And it's once she finally, like, realized, like, trying to figure out, like, why she's unable to move, and when she sees it, she's just like, shit, and, like, checks it around it very tenderly to see how deep it goes, if it's snatched on anything, if pulling out this piece of metal will do more good than harm. And she goes ahead and decides against it. And I think when you scream sound off, Nova, Lumira screams as she just rips the piece right out of her thigh and just kind of turning it.
The pain that rips through you is almost indescribable. It's white hot, and for a second you have an out-of-body experience as you just rip this rebar from your leg, and you are moving on instinct, just pure base training as you're tourniqueting it. You can feel your own blood leaching out of this wound inside the flesh of your thigh, and you feel your vision swim in front of you. You are a finger's width away from unconsciousness from the shock of the pain of it. You're still somewhat prone on the ground, kind of flattened, caught between the wreck and the outside of Kesseki. And as you hear Sayer's voice, which sounds very close but also so far, swimming in and out of focus, a shadow falls over you, in front of you, kind of blotting out the sunless light from the horizon. And as your hand continues to wrench against that wound and you look up, you see a figure with a hand outstretched in your direction as though telling you to take it, but you can't make out anything about this figure. There's just a shadow, a glitching shadow, a faceless shadow, an expressionless shadow, the edges blurring in and out of existence as though one moment they might be here, another they might be gone, a ghost caught in static. Do do you take the Drifter's hand?
Very much like when Lumira was experiencing the end of Tungal, right before she dipped off to trans. That hand reached out towards her then too. And much like then, it's scared but sure. And she grabs it more like the forearm of it, trying to like pull herself up.
The hand feels like a memory made solid, and also a vision that hasn't happened yet. Something fuzzy and incorporeal about the edges, but also solid like a plate of shadow that has become. Lumira, you hold onto the Drifter's hand, and whoever they are, they pull you up. You stagger to your feet, and before you're able to pull yourself to your full height, you see their glitching head, haloed by a midnight sun, by the seed of annihilation, by the black hole in the sky behind them. And as soon as your eyes fall on that, your hand reaches through emptiness and the Drifter is gone.
Nova. Nova?
In the heartbeats after your scream, Sayer yells out, hearing you from across a long distance, yet a short distance. Mira, I'm coming! Stay put!
What? Okay. Can you see Zynon?
As I'm running, like, shoulder dislocated, getting up and running through the wreckage, do I see Zynon? I think I'm focused
There's a
on
lot of
finding the
smoke
rest.
in the air right now. You're very close to where the smoke is the thickest, Sayer, because the engine itself caught fire. There's a big gout of it just ballooning in these huge black clouds. It's stinging your eyes, making your sweat coagulate against the surface of your skin. Then you kind of stagger past a piece of twisted rebar and a big pylon of shattered glass. You broach through the smoke and you see Lumira standing there, wobbling slightly, a bandage wrapped around her leg that's now bleeding red on one side of the wreckage. And then both of you hear a shuffling of metal, a crackling of glass, and Yinghe crawls out of a pile of debris. They have somehow managed to unclip themselves from the safety straps in the bridge, and they clamber to their feet using a piece of broken and twisted iron to steady themselves. And both of you see that the arm they're not using to steady themselves is cradled gingerly against their torso and is twisted in a very unnatural direction.
Yeah. Sayer approaches the both of them, and any additional strength that Yinghe needs to like stand up or clamber out, Sayer obviously assists, and I think places a hand on Yinghe's cheek, and it's just like, glad you're safe.
I'm okay. I've been through worse. Lumira, there you are. I'm glad you're okay. Where's the Oracle? I'm here. And there's like a shuffling of metal as this circular droid rolls across the cracked earth. You see a little red light beeping on one end of the chassis, and as the Oracle rolls and rights itself in the middle of the three of you, you see that there is a crack spiderwebbing against the glass lens of their eye. And it's kind of the color of their eye, the red glow of it is like glitching occasionally. I'm okay.
Don't look okay.
Oh,
I don't know if I have enough energy to levitate. I think I just have to roll.
Rolling is just fine. We're. And
You
I think
can't roll.
Umair is so dazed right
You can't
now.
roll, yeah. I think Sayer like senses that you are not feeling like fully yourself, consciousness waning in and out. And his other arm like reaches out and you hear him go as he pushes past the pain a little bit to kind of like tap on your shoulder to hold you a little steady. And then he looks down at the Oracle, who's trying to be brave. Kind of leans down and goes, obviously you can't roll in that condition. Come. And lowers his hand down and is like, come, I'll carry you.
You don't need to carry me. I'm strong. I can
Don't be
do it
stubborn.
myself. Fine.
And the oracle slowly and shudderingly rolls onto the palm of your hand. You're surprised, perhaps, by how lightweight this droid is, despite the metal plating and the steel chassis.
We'll do something about that. You did good. And I will, unlike in Inferno, where Sayer had shoved the Oracle violently into a pocket to silence it, Sayer very gently just lowers his fingers so that the Oracle can just drop into his waistcoat pocket instead.
You hear a mechanical whirring and a kind of electrical chirping that almost resembles perhaps a digital cat of some kind as the oracle settles into that pouch. And you can feel the weight of it kind of nuzzle against the side of your hip. And Sayer, Lumira, and Yinghe, that is when the three of you notice the fourth member of your party, standing a little ways aside from the wreck, Zain and Esh.
You hear him first. A deep, chesty cough. As he looks over this flat, unfamiliar part of a world that he's realizing more and more how little he's seen. As he stands in a place that looks nothing like the Lodestar Steading. And he's holding himself relatively tall, but Lumira, you know this man. You've seen what he looks like when he is hurt. Sayer, you have seen him move the way that he prefers to move, agile, quiet. He is holding so much pain across his chest, across his ribs, where you cinched him safely. But in an impact that hard, no safety will stop. And he's got new places that he has shattered. Not visible except for the hand that he cradles so tenderly, not even aware of the pain, as his eyes try and make sense of it.
Zoiden, I'm glad you're okay. All of us survived. That's good, right?
Nova.
Yeah. Are you all okay?
Fine.
Don't lie to me.
I'm all right.
His eyes, Zainan's eyes travel 1, 2, 3, 4, and he looks Sayer over, spotting the orb that is somewhat visible. All right, we need food, we need water, we need shelter now.
Supplies. I attack them. And Sayer, there's a moment, Zainan, as you move over to us and Sayer watches the way you hunch, the way pain zaps and courses through your chest and torso. He would have made that choice a million times to hold you taut. But there's a rippling of guilt. Inadequate again, not enough again to protect you in this moment. He needs to do better and he needs to do more. And doing more means we need to have more. We need to have more. I will step up for you, Zayn, and I will step up. And Sayer kind of like looks to the rest of Nova. I'll head to the inventory. I tagged some, maybe some still survived in the wreck.
And do what with your shoulder? What are you carrying? Who are you supporting? Nothing. Come here. And I think Lumira is utterly frustrated right now. She hurts. Everyone is in pain. She's still kind of dazed. She's very confused. She knows Zynon's on edge. Just very little time for niceties right now. Hold your tongue. And she'll grab the back of your arm and your shoulder, pop it back into place.
Yes. Lumira, you are able to just brace. You know exactly how to relocate a dislocated shoulder, and you
How many
crack
times have I
that
done
right
this
back
for the
into
both
place.
of them so far? Over and over and over and over.
Thank you.
Sayer, your shoulder is relocated, but as soon as it pops back in, you don't get the usual sudden rush of relief that you would from simply riding a dislocated shoulder. There's even a sharper pain that suddenly cracks as Lumira pushes it back in. There's something really wrong with your rotator cuff, Sayer. It wasn't just a dislocated shoulder. You are still only at 2 HP.
What's wrong?
There's still some pain.
Where do you feel it? Lumira will tenderly kind of press her thumb into a couple of spots along the edge of where she knows the rotator cuff is at. Try to get a feel for it.
Where would that pain be, Connie? What's wrong with my shoulder? What happened?
Lumira, you can tell pretty much immediately that there's some sort of torn ligament and tendon happening here. You're gonna need more than just physical therapy, essentially, to correct this. You're gonna need resources.
Okay.
So, Lumira, one of your archetype features is the ability to heal your teammates. So, you have access to first aid. So whenever someone loses a hit point, you can, if we're in combat, forfeit your next action and spend 3 provisions to immediately recover that hit point. Outside of combat, which is right now, you can spend 3 provisions at any time to recover 1 hit point. But provisions, looking around all of you, this is the broken, shattered body of the Kestrel. Back before it crashed, you had 11 provisions remaining, 9 energy, and 10 protection. I'm now gonna roll to see how much of that you have left. Let's see. Let's start with protection. Oh, that's not bad. You have 7 protection left. Let's go to energy. You have 4 energy left. Finally, let's do provisions. Oh, you have 6 provisions left.
I think
As
go ahead.
as the medicine was occurring, Zynon's eyes were already looking around. Getting a head count, seeing everyone accounted for was enough for him. He's not looking to heal right now. He's looking for food, water, and shelter. And his eyes begin to look around, and as Lumira is checking out Sayer's shoulder, he begins to fully walk back towards the areas that he can kind of make out of the Kestrel, looking for anything and thinking constantly on a loop about how much water they have lost in the last hour.
Synon, as you re-enter the smoldering wreck of the Kestrel, you find your feet guided, perhaps drawn toward those empty barrels, some of which you still see scattered about this crash site, devoid of any liquid at all. But as part of those 6 provisions you have, you notice that one of the barrels tipped onto the side, perhaps the one that Sayir was using while floating in anti-gravity. You notice a kind of wet sheen on the lip of that barrel tilted onto the side of its body.
He runs to it and immediately starts to kind of angle it, shake it to listen, and look for something to seal it if there's anything left.
When you lift it up and shake it a little, you hear the most beautiful noise in the world. Sloshing. The sloshing of water. The sloshing of liquid. If you peer inside the barrel, you'll see that there's very little water left, but there is still some water left. Maybe a tenth of what used to be in here. Enough for a mouthful of water for each of your teammates to sustain a day? Maybe 2 at most.
That gratitude isn't just to Fortune. He remembers how they got on this ship. And even in his searching, he starts to wonder if Dom knew how much water was on this ship. Chances are good that man doesn't miss a single margin. And there's a little bit of gratitude sent that way too, as he seals up the mouthfuls.
So are you sealing up the barrel itself, or are you trying to tilt out the water into smaller, portable containers?
I think for now he's just going to seal it, but over time, as he's trying to gather provisions, if he finds something that seems better.
Absolutely. You're very easily able to find what used to be a lid of a barrel and kind of put it back on. Maybe use a blunt end of something to tap, 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 like sealing an opened paint can, essentially. The kind of metallic ringing resonates throughout this crash site as we pan back toward Lumira and Sayir. Back in the direction of where the bridge used to be, the two of you notice Yinghe standing a couple of feet away from the two of you, still cradling their broken arm to the trunk of their body. And they're first looking up at the sky, staring at the singularity looming in the blank gray horizon. And even through the geomagnetic storms thrashing the upper atmosphere, even through the haze of filament that suffocates everything, even through the pain that's blurring your senses and addling your minds, the two of you can see it too. A black circle beyond the dust, above the horizon, millions of miles away, and yet too much, and yet much too close for comfort. It is haloed by a rim of seething white light, like an eclipse that never ends. It is the size of a coin, and its position never, ever, ever moves. And then the two of you notice Yinghe look down and scan what's at eye level all around each of you. And then you notice their head kind of quirk to the side, and they lean forward, peering at something to the north, south, west, east. You have no idea what direction they're looking in. And then they say, guys, I think I see something.
Can you make out its shape? Does it look
Show
like
me.
a person?
Yeah, no, not a person, much bigger than that. And Yinghe lifts their unbroken hand and kind of points directly in front of them, and then sweeps their hand in a horizontal arc, in a semicircle around the crash site. And all of you realize that it's not just flat Earth that surrounds you, because curving in a massive circle around the site of the wreck, perhaps 5 or 6 miles away in all directions, is a single ridge rising out of the flat and broken Earth. It almost looks like you're in the middle of a crater. Even from this distance, you can tell that the walls of this crater are enormously tall. You have no idea what you might see if you crawl out of this basin. But there's something else. Something very strange indeed, as Yinghe kind of sweeps their arm in that final arc and points directly behind where all of you are standing. And you see, 1 or 2 miles away, the wall of this crater blasted open so wide that the crater looks less like an O and more like a C. This gap in the wall is 5 or 6 miles wide. And beyond it, you can see endless stretches of that same flat and level and cracked earth that you're standing on. It's almost as though whatever caused this crater crash landed and then exploded outward in a single direction, pulverizing and flattening everything in its path. And in that pulverized direction, beyond the broken walls of the crater, all of you see something else in the distance that Yinke's finger stays pointed at. Maybe a mountain range? Maybe a mirage or a trick of the light? Whatever it is, it's very far away, hundreds of miles at least. So, as all of you are taking in this ghost of a planet, your party becomes our very first faction. Just like a bastion or a vehicle, a faction commands a resource pool of your own, of provisions, energy, and protection. You can add to your faction's resources by scavenging from the environment or seizing resources from a different faction, bastion, or vehicle. Remember, you can burn resources to increase the number of dice you roll on a skill check, and if you burn 3 resources of the same type, you can automatically succeed on a skill check. No rolls needed. So as all of this is pointed out to you, and you notice, the broken kestrel, the strange crater, the nebulous thing on the horizon, Yinghe slowly lowers their finger and turns back to you, Lumira, you, Seir, and, a little whiles away, you, Zynon. Should we stay here, or should we try to look at what that wall cliff thing is? Maybe that other thing, but it seems even farther away.
Whatever was big enough to make that, I want no parts of.
Lumire's right.
Yeah.
Simon kind of wanders up. Curiosity. That'll get you killed out here. We need to find a nice place to bunker down. I feel a little exposed here, if I'm honest.
I agree. And we see Sayer go towards his waistcoat because seeing Oblivion, that little black hole in the sky, there's a fear that wells deep inside him, seeing this crater, the explosion of it, in whatever form is miles and miles ahead of us. Too many questions. I am the omen speaker. Allow me to see some of the omens. And I think Sayer's first instinct here is to try and tap into that and see if... Hey, in the crash, did my radio survive, Connie?
The radio was clipped to your kind of like bandolier on your chest, right? Yeah, you remember the radio. You look down and you see that it is kind of cracked, sparking a little. The shell is still there, but it's broken.
No. He unclips it from the leather harness and he takes a look at it, seeing how, I think it's like a deep crack and we see bits of sparking inside. He's like, no. Shit. And he clips onto it, and I think he shares a meaningful look to Yinghe. I can't hear him. Shit.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. You see understanding in Yinghe's gaze for why this broken radio, of all the broken things, is causing you to react like this. They rest a hand on your uninjured shoulder, a gentle and firm and reassuring hand. It's okay. We'll fix it. Eventually.
I have to. Damn you, old man. And as he says that, clearly not to Zynon, and not to anyone here present, but to a radio on a dead planet. And as he kind of keeps it clipped to that leather harness, Sayer regulates himself, like holding onto maybe Yinghe's elbow. All right. If we're going to move, we're going to need food. And I tagged some of the items. Maybe it survived. Maybe some of the canned ones survived. And
I gathered stuff too before the crash.
Great.
Same.
I'll go into
Okay,
look.
Strike Team Nova. You have 6 provisions that you can basically transfer from the Kestrel to your faction. So, what specific things are you trying to take from the Kestrel? We already established one of these 6 provisions is some water. Anything else?
Food, Connie.
Okay.
Lizard.
Non-perishable food, Connie.
Ration pouches. Yep, sure.
Yeah.
Ration pouches. Absolutely. You can find some that haven't been force-fed to the Oracle.
Zynon went through all of the lockers and things before even speaking to Nova on this entire trip, trying to find like longer term, like hard rations, not stuff that they would even give to crew on a ship, but like, should you crash, here's like a day's worth of food, that kind of stuff. So like really unfun rations basically was the goal of his gathering before, like pouched, not even like water, but like hydration fluid.
Yes. So you do have the ration pouches from the galley. Perhaps a couple of those left. And Zynon, as you kind of scrounge around the refuse and the waste, you're also able to find a few hard ration blocks. They are not fun. They do not taste good. They're difficult to chew, but they last fucking forever. So we've got ration pouches, hard rations, a little bit of water. That's 3 out of 6 provisions. Are there any other specific resources we're trying to find?
Medicine. I'm talking
Okay.
if we're talking legitimate specifics, we're looking for pain relievers, we're looking for antibiotics, we're looking for anti-inflammatories, anything that can help ease pain, reduce fevers, and help bodies naturally fight infections. Anything
Of
along
course.
the lines of that.
Absolutely. So each of those things would be 1 provision. You can try to dedicate the rest of what you find, so 3 more provisions
Yes.
to just be medical supplies, if everyone else is
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Three
Lumira doesn't
medical
even
supplies. Yep.
if Lumira doesn't even really look to the rest of them for that. She knows these 2 and immediately just starts bulking up on everything else, filling those last 3 slots without even asking.
Perfect. So Strike Team Nova, you now have 6 provisions. Ration pouches, 3 medical supplies, a little bit of water, and hard rations. What's remaining in the Kestrel, I noted that there were 4 energy remaining. Essentially, this comes in the form of dribbling reactor fluid that's just kind of like leaking everywhere, as well as kind of still glowing and sparking bulbs. So like light sources, a little bit of electricity remaining in them. The broken radio also counts as 1. There's technically batteries in there.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
We're all typing in the sheet at the exact
Yep.
same time. Okay, so we got the broken radio. This is a Valiant Dorian question because I am not an electricity man. I don't suppose there is any way we can because if we're going to leave the Kestrel, and this is to like the table, like if we're going to leave the Kestrel, is there any possibility that we're able to transfer any of this energy resource with us?
I mean, Zynon doesn't seem worried as he's collecting anything that isn't nailed down. You do not see him have much regard for can we? It's we will and we'll figure it out.
Okay, heard.
Valid.
Cool.
So you can try to like collect the dribbling reactor fluid, what's left of it. None of you are engineers or chemists necessarily. Lumira might have dabbled in these fields of study a little bit, but you can tell that this. Yeah, it's basically like a liquid energy source, but it needs a catalyst. You can't just kind of pour it into an empty battery socket.
I know
and let
lots
it work.
about
There's
fire.
also there's no planet where Zynon doesn't know how to like basically siphon gasoline in the world that he is from. So
Okay.
he's
Yes.
like, I can figure this out.
I can say you can very easily find kind of improvised pouches. That's very easy. If you want to carry
Okay.
a mass amount of things, I might ask you to roll for it, but based on what number of resources there are, you can easily take these with you. So are you taking all of what's left of the reactor fluid that you can scavenge as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you, Striking Mova, you have 4 energy in the form of a broken radio with batteries and some reactor fluid. There is 7 protection left on the Kestrel, which means as you look up, you see that the 2 ship cannons, what the Oracle had identified as Erosion 350 MEV Zeta autocannons, each the size of like 2 huge muscular people lined up shoulder to shoulder, they're still intact. They're still mounted above what used to be the wings of the Kestrel. And you also see a particle turret, maybe the size of half of a tank, like kind of cracked against the ground, but also primarily intact. However, these are really huge. These guns are massive. So do you leave the guns behind, or do you try to break them down, or perhaps look for loose bullets or ammunition?
Loose bullets
I'm-
or ammunition makes
I'm leaning
the
towards
most
ammo.
sense.
Much like the energy, if it's not nailed down and not unreasonable for Zynon to try and take it apart, take it with him, use the ammo, use any hardware, screws, anything inside of these, he is
Same, yeah.
at them.
Yeah.
Yes, Sayer's aligned on that. Just even if we can
Absolutely.
like break it down to raw materials, especially like screws and stuff like that, because I need to fix this radio pronto.
I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
in the midst of all that, Lumira kind of limps over to Yinghe and gently holds her hands out in front of her to look at Yinghe's hand. Like, she can tell that it's broken pretty gnarly, but trying to see if there's anything that she can do, looking for random pieces of metal to try to make like a makeshift splint or something.
That's very interesting. Yes. So instead of just burning provisions to auto heal, you can do kind of a makeshift splint in this moment, which will help accelerate the healing over time. If you're not able to use resources right now. So you're able to very easily find like a piece of like metal or wood or something and a bit of rope or twine or gauze and set the arm. So it's not just hanging limply against their torso for
Okay.
Yinghe.
Yeah,
And
I'll do
yeah.
that for now till we can get more settled and I can take a deeper look at it.
Of course. In the meantime, Sayir and Zynon, as part of the protection, I'll say you can work at dismantling the autocannons and scavenging pieces from it, but that's going to take some know-how because neither of you are very experienced with engineering ship artillery. So, which one of you is leading this?
Unless Sayer shows initiative on it, Zynon, anytime
I
he
do
finds
not.
anything, he
Sayer
is
would.
Yeah.
Sayer typically would and jumps at the chance to dismantle things, but Sayer meaningfully and patiently steps aside and watches how you move, Zynon. He defers to you.
And if Zynon were looking, if Zynon were not looking through you again, Sayer, he would see that. But he is singular. He is focused. It is if he is on rails. Actually, since we've started scouting the Kestrel for parts, he's barely looked at anybody since Lumira was fixing your shoulder. He is completely singularly focused on gathering supplies and leaving this place.
That I understand.
Okay.
Sayer waits
Zynon.
patiently.
Zynon, how do you try to dismantle these cannons and this turret and look for scavengeable materials?
He starts by just like pulling off panels, access panels, things like that. But once he gets into the meat of them, his tack is like, what can I unplug? What can I disconnect? with a little bit of like, hopefully this doesn't shock me, and like testing things to make sure they're not live that might directly harm him. But it is inelegant, to say the least.
Okay. I think in order to whittle down your protection resource into something carryable, I'm going to set the threshold to desperate. And it's going to be a survival check. So you're going to need 3 successes. You do not have a situational advantage. Sayir, are you helping Zynon? Yeah, you are actively helping. So yes, Sayir is helping you. Are you harnessing a relevant tool or power, Zynon?
I think yes, but it is not a conscious choice as he begins to dismantle this. He has done this 1,000 times, and we see Zynon, this iterating, this single-mindedness, the ghost of the lodestar steading, scavenging in desperation. He is in 2 places. He is in a memory, and here, as the ghost inside of him is also doing this.
I will give that to you, but I will also tell you, Zynon, that the ghost of Lodestar Steading was violent and desperate. So that is how you will go about dismantling this if you are invoking that power. So roll me 4d20. We're looking for 3 successes against your survival score, which is a 12.
Also, I have an ability, Scavenger. For each resource I collect, it counts as 2. But specifically for this, when you make a skill check to forage, craft, or navigate, roll dominant.
That means every 1 success counts as 2. That's very good. So you only need 2 successes for this to succeed. Go for it.
And survival?
Yes.
Oh, we just made it, fam. It is a natural 1 and then a 12, which is my survival score.
God bless.
Yep, okay. You barely got it. Perfect. This means that with Sayir's help, you kind of rip these turrets and these cannons apart. And you know, Zynon, that the guns themselves are way too big for your party to carry. You would need like a huge wagon or a carriage of some sort to transport these guns. So you gotta leave them behind or hunker down here next to them. However, you do manage to scrounge up some ammunition. The autocannons in particular are ballistic. So you get like 2 reams of bandoliers worth of like huge cannon-sized bullets, like really big ones, that you're able to carry with you. I'm going to say that that counts as most of the 7 of the protection from the Kestrel. You also have, just like you wanted to, collected random broken pieces from the ship that you could fashion into weapons or armor, or you could use for other things. So I'm going to say that's the other half of the protection. Because you're leaving the guns themselves behind, which is the bulk of the protection, I would say the base of what you scavenge would be 3, but you double it, so it's 6. You get 6 protection. I'm going to just put down large bullets, random ship pieces.
Great. And as Zynon is doing this, there is almost anger at the resistance that this device gives him as he pulls at it, and he should be in pain. And so as he's doing this, you can see the burns from the engine coolant vent have gone through his glove. And still he pulls at this device like he is disconnected from his own body.
Hey, come. And like Sayir doesn't try to interrupt you, but like any point that he is able to be a lever, to be able to give you additional stability, that's what he's doing. But his eyes consistently trail over the burning through of your gloves, the pain that echoes through your torso and chest, and notes it and tries harder.
And with that, Strike Team Nova, you have scavenged and foraged everything you can scavenge and forage from the Kestrel. When you're done, all of your supplies are, I think, piled in like a central area, and anything that's carryable is on your person. All that's really left is that big barrel full of water, and you have essentially managed to find improvised pouches for each party member. So you can ration and portion the water out between each of you, or put them all on one person, up to your party.
Approaching it, Zynon, before even uncorking it, stops and looks at everyone. This might be it. What's in this barrel? We're gonna have to make do until we find, honestly, a fucking miracle. So, however we choose to carry this, this is the most valuable thing we have.
Understood. I think it would probably be smartest if we split it up among the four of us. You know, so we each had our own supply of it, in case we got separated or had to go off and split off for some reason.
And in the case of anything happening to one of the pouches, we don't know what's out there.
That's right. So we're kind of spreading out our supply, not putting all of our eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Lemira nods blankly. She is uncharacteristically quiet. Her eyes have not left that massive black hole that sits in the sky. And I think if you actually were looking at her, when she was tending to your wound, Sayir, her eyes were typical, the frantic, trying to assess all over the place, everywhere at once. But you notice right now, the only time her eyes are still is when she's looking at that.
Sayre steps closer
You're
to
right.
you. Meaningfully, doesn't say anything. Right. Where to now, Zai? Which way to find who you're looking for?
Zynon looks around. He has no idea where we are. And you can see it in his eyes when he's trying to make a decision, when we've landed on a new plane, when we've gone just about anywhere. Trying to make a plan instead of having a plan, they are very different things. And he's trying to make a plan before your eyes. Honestly, we should get our bearings, and then we'll see what we can do. Maybe get that radio working.
You see Sayre's pupils almost constrict, like into almost a slit. That is something he wants very badly, and you can tell he wants it really badly. He says, if we can hunker down, I can try. And he looks ahead, realizing perhaps we are a little more in danger than he had previously thought. And that unsettles him. That makes him terrified. But this is not the time to be terrified. I will close that door, and instead I will step forward close by to Lumira and point out to the rest of Nova once again all of these like key features that Yinghe has already looked through. There are too many unknowns, and I think Sayre is going to posture that we find a way to find our bearings, but in a way where we can inform ourselves of what the hell is going on here. But I don't want to go too close to whatever that is, or whatever could have possibly made that, I don't fucking know, explosion.
We go the opposite way.
Okay, so away from the
Curiosity is-
mountain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, toward the ridge then?
Yeah. Towards the ridge. higher
Okay,
ground.
That sounds good.
Maybe I can see more. Right.
Let's try to climb it.
And Zion, I think, finally clocks that Lumira has been quiet. We're making a plan, and she usually has something. Lumira, you with us?
And it takes a second before she answers you. And she shakes herself from it, blinking double, triple time. Yeah. I'm here. I'm with us.
All right. Come on.
Yinghe is the one who presses the water pouch into your hands, Lumira, wordlessly. And just like the reassuring hand they left on Seer's shoulder, they leave a reassuring squeeze against your fingers as you take your improvised water skin. And with that, Nova, you begin to set out away from the site of the smoldering kestrel toward the ridges that are much closer to you than whatever that strange mountain range in the distance is. And as you walk and trek closer to those ridges, you start to notice more details emerge from the landscape around you. This cracked earth, as you walk closer and closer to the edge of the crater, seems to contain a fine filament of white particulates all over you, like a dusting of snow almost, but it is certainly not snow. And occasionally these filaments cluster in these large, irregular formations about knee-high. Do any of you examine them any closer as you approach the ridge?
Fuck yes.
Okay. Yeah, how are you examining them? Do you touch them, or do you just, like, squint at them closer?
I mean, Zion's going to start by looking at them.
Okay.
Anything that he can't discern quickly, he does look through his rifle. Through his rifle.
Sure. So they're immobile. They're definitely inorganic, based on what you can tell. They're not alive. There's no pulsating or anything. Well, as far as you can tell. And as you squint closer at these formations, you notice almost like they're crystalline in a way. They seem to glimmer a little underneath the light. And each of these little particulates is almost diamond-shaped, but irregularly. They all kind of come together to make these formations.
You ever seen something like this, And I think Sayer, like, he doesn't pick it up, but like a tracker, he has his like hand hovering above like the sand and this like dusty particulates, and is looking at it. See anything like this? Debris, waste from a creature?
Connie, have you seen anything like this before?
So there is something vaguely familiar about it. It seems to be ringing some sort of bell, but the name of it, or whatever it is escaping you. You would have to touch it or interact with it to learn more. This is all you can get from looking at it. And as Strikes Nova pauses or maybe slows down to look at these particulates, Yinghe kind of lets out a soft gasp and goes, Nova, there's something over there. And they're pointing perhaps 24 feet away at a crack in the ground, one of the larger cracks in the ground, perhaps the width of an entire person, just lying flat from head to toe. And there's something emerging from the crack in the ground. It's a piece of tall, straight, uninterrupted wood. Just a piece of wood shooting up, almost like the trunk of a tree, but it's much too cylindrical, much too straight and uniform to be an actual tree. There are no gnarled knots or anything like that, and the top of it is splintered, like it's been cracked in two, and you see the top half of it lying on the ground, a broken piece of it. Just more of that cylindrical wood.
Now, Connie.
Yes,
this is
Sayer.
the ground is like this like cracked wasteland, like really, really dry earth.
Extremely.
Right?
Yep.
And it's like a thick trunk that's bursting out of this wasteland, cracked ground. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is exactly what you're hearing. Yes.
Terrible. I hate this. And because this is in our surrounding periphery, it just burst out and emerged, or
No, it's been there this whole time. You just didn't notice it until he got closer. Yeah, Yinko was the one who pointed it out.
Okay.
No, it didn't just grow. No, it's been there actually.
Terrifying.
It's about two
okay.
dozen feet away. A little too far for you to tell details, but Zainan, you can squint through your scope.
Yeah, that would be the inclination. Anytime anyone points anything out, he's got his rifle up and he is looking.
Yes, you raise your rifle to your eye and you look through the scope. You look at this wooden cylindrical trunk, the splintered top of it, the broken half of it, lying on the ground perpendicular to the vertical part of it. And you notice fine grain, wooden grain, not like bark on a tree, but almost like it's been made. And you notice something else too. Knob-like features coming out of the side of it, one by one, coming down, almost like they were handholds. And then, Zainan, something clicks in the back of your head. You've seen a post like this before, exactly. On the Wild Sea, you've been on top of it. This is the mast of a ship.
Oh shit.
Fuck off, Connie.
And the particulates on the ground, that's why they were familiar. It's salt.
It's fucking
These are salt deposits.
Zainan, looking through the scope, just goes, fuck. Salt of the sea, huh?
I'm Strike Team Nova. As we pull out and see a bird's eye view of where you are. You pull out. We see you tiny little figures standing in the middle of this crater. No, it's not a crater. This is a bay. Back when there was water. And Yinghe says, I hate to bring more bad news, but is it just me, or are those mountains behind us, getting closer?
We need to get out of here.
Quickly.
Yeah.
And we're gonna cut to break there. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Arc 4 Episode 3 and Arc 4 Episode 4 of the Chaos Protocol so far. We will be back in just about 10 minutes as we go to our break. Please, in the meantime, stretch and hydrate. Make sure to check out our sponsors' links as we run those sponsored ads. And we will be back very, very soon to continue the tale. In the meantime, Shpisho Bisho. Howdy, Transplay Nerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay! Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today. Hello, Transplay Nerds! It's your favorite part of every Chaos Protocol stream. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we are thrilled to partner with the Working Families Party, a progressive third party in the United States building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. The Working Families Party is fighting for universal healthcare, taxing the rich, and higher wages. If you're in the US and you want to make a difference in your community, I highly recommend checking out the Working Families Party and getting involved with your local chapter. In fact, let's take an action together right now to sign a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This petition means a lot to us as indie actual play performers telling authentic stories, fighting censorship, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. Let's build a better future together. Hello, everyone. What was that? We're at 90. Oh, we're at 95. Okay, I just heard something in my ear just as we came back. Hello, everyone. We are at 95 out of 250 of our goal, which is so freaking exciting. Thank you so much to everyone who's been donating so far. Let's try to see if we can hit at least 100 before the end of the stream. I know we can do it. I know we can hit 150. I know we can hit 250. I believe in us. We're going to be coming back with Arc 3 Episode 4 of the Chaos Protocol. But before we do, a evergreen reminder that the Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that deals with content that may be triggering for some viewers. So content warnings for this particular session may include fantasy violence, crashes, survival and scarcity, environmental collapse, apocalypse, storms, monstrosity, body horror, blood, complex relationships, grief, romance, and references to classism, revolutionary violence, insects, and the loss of children. If you're in the Twitch stream, please use !CW in the chat at any time to get a look at our content warnings. If you are watching this on YouTube live, our lovely mods will be dropping reminders of these content warnings in the chat every now and then. Okay, and with that out of the way, let's hop right back into the session. Notes on climate. Entry 003. Even before the wasting, the three suns of Kesseki have always heated the surface of the planet unevenly, generating areas of immense weather due to extreme pressure differentials. Now, the planet's overall reduction in moisture, coupled with the geomagnetic storms in its upper atmosphere that greatly alter the intensity and trajectory of solar winds, as well as the planet's infamously long night cycles that plummet temperatures for extended periods of time, all work together to generate weather conditions that are more volatile and unpredictable than anything the planet has ever seen. However, there are a few phenomena we can consistently account for, given meteorological readings, secondhand accounts, and the author's own experiences thus far. One of these phenomena is the thermally magnifying effect of the planet's atmospheric storms. As the author hopes the reader knows, warm air rises, and cold air rushes in to fill the space left behind. This balancing effect creates wind. Thermal magnification makes Kesseki's winds even stronger than they already were, with the strongest gales blasting across areas without complex or variable terrain to block its trajectory, such as open fields or plains. And each time, without fail, these winds whip up a titanic cloud of dust. And by titanic, this author means Titanic. These dust storms are often the size of cities, if not entire countries. They are truly a sight to behold, blanketing the horizon from north to south, east to west, as far as the eye can see. From a distance, they might resemble a mountain range or a floating gray mirage, but do not be fooled. A dust storm is fearsome, it is violent, and it cannot be survived. The author recommends avoiding them as much as mortally possible, especially if one is in the vicinity of a wind tunnel, such as a mountain range, a valley, or a bay. Yinghe slows down as your party progresses toward the edge of what used to be the bay. Their eyebrows furrowed, Tada gaze focused. She cocks her head to the side, transfixed, and says out loud, "Just what is that thing?"
Sinan peers through his scope, looking. Does he know? Does this look like the
Sinan.
death that came for him?
It sure does.
Dust. We gotta fucking go.
Quick, now! Double time!
Wait. And Zynon goes to everyone. Find something on their body. Put this over your mouth. Now.
Okay.
Okay. Each member of Nova ties sheer strips of fabric over their nose, their mouth, their jaw, and Zynon, as you watch your family try to fashion these masks, you know in your heart of hearts this is not enough. This is worse than what everyone else back at Lodestar Stedding had on. This is worse than what Piera had on. This is worse than what Dom had on. This is worse than what Azalise had on. This is much worse than what you and Doxa had on. And through that scope, that dust storm, it's very far away still. It's hundreds of miles away, but you know how fast these things can move. And given your intimate history with this phenomena, you know that there's maybe between 10 to 30 hours before it catches up to you. And a storm, of course, moves much faster than a person can. So you have essentially two options here. You can try to outrun it, climb out of this basin and get somewhere, find something to shelter behind once you're on even land, or you can find a place to hunker down and wait it out.
As everyone's tightening their fabric over their face, he hears that cough, not his own, but Dom's, Piera's, Azalise's, and the one that thinks his heart straight into his feet, Doxa's. He knows they can't outrun it, so his eyes scan, and I'd like to use a move, Connie.
Okay.
I have an ability called Reconnaissance. When I investigate a new location, make a survival check. For each success, I can ask the GM one and receive an honest answer of a list of 3 questions. On a failure, I ask anyway, but then something bad happens to me.
Excellent. So a survival check. Let's see. You don't have situational advantage. You're not getting assistance from another character. Are you harnessing a relevant tool or power?
I'm using my gun to look.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. I would say that works because it's essentially acting as binoculars. So that is 2d20. Would you like to burn any resources to increase your pool?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. I think we gotta find
from your provisions, energy, or protection.
I'm gonna say from protection. No, I can't think of a reason for that one. I think he looks to Lumira as he's doing this and grabs some of the, reaches and where he knows some of the medical supplies went, and he just grabs some of it to wrap over his hand to steady himself, quite literally using some of the gauze to hold his hand a little bit more together since his glove is not cutting it right now.
Okay, so that's 3d20 in the pool total. Your provisions go down from 6 to 5. Roll 3d20. We're looking for 12s and under.
That's a 3. So I get
3.
1.
All 3 of them are successes?
No, it's sorry, I get 1.
You get 1 success. So you can ask 1 question from the list. Your 3 questions are, what hazard, trap, or ambush is hidden here? What safety or refuge can be found? Or what here is most valuable to me?
There's only one thing on his mind. What safety or refuge can be found?
Okay, absolutely. You wrap the gauze around your burned hands to steady your gun. You peer through the scope and you scan across what used to be a bay, and you see more of these shipwrecks at first, dotting the vicinity in front of you. The closer and closer you get to the base of those sloping cliffs, You see overturned vessels of all sizes and shapes. One of them in particular, I think, gleams under the obscured light of day. A massive container ship tilted on its side. All of the shipping containers have been kind of spilled out. Many of the doors have been pried open, and they look empty. People must have passed through here or something. It's been picked clean. But you do notice that one of the shipping containers is still closed. And you think, a shipping container? Could you hole up inside a shipping container and wait this out? No, this is still much too exposed. Still too much in the open. But that closed shipping container does seem to gleam in the light, promising resources, promising something behind its doors. As you continue scanning across the basin, you also see, perhaps 500 feet away from the shipping containers, something growing out of a crack in the earth. Something colorful. Green. 2 stalks of something green. Growing and swaying slightly in the breeze. Even through your scope, you can't tell exactly what it is, but it looks like vegetation. And then as you continue panning your scope around, you see against the bottom of one of the cliff's edges a cave entrance. Perhaps a quarter mile away from where you are.
He looks at that shipping container. It is tantalizing. If it had been there an hour earlier when they were searching the crash site, he would have scrapped that thing all the way down to its bolts. But resources won't save you if you're stuck in a storm. And he points everyone there. A cave. And the green he can't get out of his mind, hoping that leaving it there doesn't leave it to die in this dust, and wondering how. How is there something green here? But he can't.
So Zynon,
It just grows in him like
is,
hope.
The good news about the vegetation is that it's on your way to the cave entrance.
Great. Then he goes towards the cave, but also he can't stop thinking about something growing here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zynon, as you lower your scope and you tell your party that there's a cave entrance, do you also relay the information about the vegetation you saw?
I think he mostly points to the cave and is gonna bridge the vegetation when he gets there.
Sounds good. So Nova, you fucking hoof it. You start trotting, timing it, toward the cave entrance. And after Zynon had pointed it out, it takes a little bit, maybe like half a minute of trotting before the cave entrance is visible to the naked eye, past this like haze of ever-present filtered dust just floating in the air around you. And Yinghe, Lumira, and Seir, the 3 of you also notice the 2 kind of like stalks of vegetation growing from a crack on the way toward the cove. You only have to make a detour of like 30 or 50 feet to really see what it is. Is that a plant?
I don't know, but I'm gonna go find out.
Okay, just be careful.
I got your back.
And
Okay.
he starts to go that way.
All right, Seir, you follow Zynon. Lumira, do you also follow the boys, or do you stay a little whiles behind with Yinghe?
No, I stay back with Yinghe. I think Lumira's like trying to double time it, but her legs still really hurt and she has not healed herself yet. So she's kind of biting through it.
Okay, absolutely. So you hang back maybe 15 or 20 feet from Zynon and Seir. As Zynon, you start to approach this vegetation first. And as you draw closer, you see that they're both about the same height, maybe 2 or 3 feet tall, actually quite tall. And they're kind of like waving in the breeze, almost like seaweed at first. At first they look like seaweed, like kelp, except there's no water at all here. They almost just resemble ferns, and they're just wiggling as you get closer.
And he is gonna walk right up to it. He wants to understand how something is surviving out here. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like back to back with Sinan, so I'm just like looking elsewhere while Sinan investigates.
Zynon, I need you to tell me what you do, as when you draw closer, you sense the ground beneath your feet start to shudder, vibrate just a little, like just slightly, a slight tremor underneath your boots. And then something very bad happens that you don't see coming. I need you to just roll me. You have 1d20 in the pool to start. You have no situational advantage. You have no assistance. You are caught by surprise here. So that is just 1d20. And you are looking to beat a 1.
You know, I came as close as I could. It is a 2.
Okay. There's a slight tremor. You're looking at the vegetation. You get a bit closer. And you're trying to find where the vegetation connects to the ground. Maybe inside the edge of this crevice. Maybe into the earth directly. No. It just keeps extending down, down, down into the crack until shadows bathe it out of sight. And then something shoots out of the crack so fast that your eye can't track it. And then you feel pain. Pain inside your torso. Ugh. You look down, and there is a harpoon made of bone sticking through your solar plexus and coming out the other side. No, not a harpoon. A tongue. A segmented, lashing tongue. Dozens of feet long, about half a foot wide, and it is penetrated through the center of your body. The hooks on the harpoon flare outward as the harpoon retracts, and it catches you, starting to pull you into the crevice. We are entering combat. I have acted first as the predator. Zynon, you're being dragged toward this thing. Sayur, you're in the vicinity. Lumira and Dinka, the two of you see this happen from 15, 20 feet away. Which one of you responds first?
I am fucking right there. I better fucking respond. Okay. Like Sayur feels the tremors too late, and watching this harpoon right through Zynon, pulling him taut, I have to free Zynon from this. If it pulls anymore, Zynon is a goner. I will unsheath my crucifix. You said it's a tongue, and it's segmented, right?
Yes, as you rush closer. Oh, by the way, Zynon, lose another hit point for me. You're down to 1.
Yeah.
Yep. Sayur, as you rush closer, you do notice that it's segmented. It makes you think of the bone whip that Bai Guzing had back in the city of heaven that could segment outward. Except the thing that's connecting each segment seems to be an organic kind of ligature.
Okay. Just like breaking crab claws or legs, Sayur's going to try to use patience to cut the tongue right just in that tender spot right above the notch of that ligament, where it's likely the softest, so that he can to save Zynon.
That's smart. So not aiming at the armor, but at the soft ligature.
Yes.
Okay. This is our first player combat roll of the season. So you make a combat roll just like you would a skill check, except instead of using measuring it against the threshold of a skill, we're just looking for the lowest roll, and that becomes your target's DC to beat to avoid damage. You have no situational advantage. You are not receiving assistance from another character, unless Lumira would like to hop in here and help in some way, use your action to help. You are harnessing a relevant tool or power. You're using... Oh no, your crescent knife counts as your weapon, so you can't count it twice.
Yeah.
Yes. So your weapon die... You also add your weapon die to this because you are using your weapon. What size is your weapon die?
It is a D10.
Okay, so that is 2d20, 1d10. Would you like to burn any resources to add d20s to the pool?
Oh, Kai has the thing.
Can I?
Oh, yes,
can I be helping instead of doing literally anything else. Knowing that Sayre was right behind, I think Zynon is actively like, the most important thing is this thing coming out of me. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So what help means is you forfeit your next action to just lend support to someone else's. So yes,
That seems
Zynon,
important.
you can be helping. How are you helping as you're impaled on this thing? Are you? How does
how
the
are you
resistance
helping?
come out?
He blindly like grabs for Sayre the moment that he like when the realization of what has happened hits him, he doesn't even think it through. His hand goes to Sayre.
Okay. So yeah, you reflexively pull Sayre's attention toward you, so Sayre acts even faster than he already would. So that, for you, Sayre, is 3d20, 1d10. Would you like to burn any resources?
I do not want to burn any resources.
Okay, so roll those 4 dice for me. We're looking for the lowest number.
Lowest number. That is a 1 on one of my d20s. Everything else
so
is
I have to beat a
larger.
1. Okay, if I beat a 1, then your attack will not succeed.
Thank you, Sayre Dice.
That's a 2. That is a 2. That is a 4. I have one more die. That is a 3. Your attack does succeed.
Oh my god.
Also, Zynon, you have an adrenaline die because you took damage. And Sayre, you gain an adrenaline die here because you're dealing damage. Tell me how you cut through this tongue as you leap forward.
Sayre leaps forward, feels, I think Zynon grabs Sayre right at the bit of the Henley that's unbuttoned, holding it taut, and Sayre holds the crescent blade in an underhanded grip, and basically not like finds purchase right in that flesh, and just in one fell swoop cuts upward.
Yep. You sever. You find this like 2-inch wide weakness in the armor. You discover it in like the heat of battle. It's almost as though you feel Artemis's guiding presence next to you as you put that crescent blade right in that weak spot, and you sever it in a single clean line. Black blood sprays everywhere. Onto Zynon, onto Sayre, as what's remaining of this tongue lashes, almost like a fire hose. That's just blood just gouts everywhere. And the 2 vegetation stalks, which you realize were yours, they retreat back into the crevice, and the tongue goes back down as well. The 2 of you hear a deep growling from within the crevice. The ground shakes a little. Do you continue to try to fight what's down there, or are you booking it?
Fuck no, we're out of here.
Okay.
And Sayre doesn't wait. Like he sees that the tongue, you still have tongue within your torso, and I think like all Sayre does is like cut the length a little shorter so it's not weighing you down, Zynon, and grabs your arm, and we're running. Go, go, go,
Okay.
go, go!
Yeah, Lumira, all of this happens within less than 2 seconds. You were about to leap into action when it's over. It's over as soon as it began. And you see Sayre with a impaled Zynon, supporting an impaled Zynon, limping and limping and limping toward your direction and toward the cove. Yinghe lets out a Zynon! Rushes forward to support Zynon's side. Yep, Yinghe is booking it toward the cove. And I assume you follow, Lumira.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. The 4 of you run as fast as you can. Zynon, you are physically unable to go your top speed, but Sayre is helping you. And within minutes, you find yourselves inside the relative safety of this cave. As soon as you step inside this cave, the light from outside and what little warmth remains in the air from outside immediately gets sucked out of the room as a darkness falls over you. You stagger in, and this hard earth eventually transitions to a kind of stony ground that also bleeds upward to form the walls and the ceiling of this cave. what used to be, you realize, a cove of sorts. There must have been water in here once upon a time, because you see a kind of rocky drop-off point, perhaps 30 feet deep into the cave entrance that leads even deeper into the cove. But for now, at least, you seem to have found some safety, as whatever was inside that crevice does not crawl out to pursue you. We are no longer in combat. Zainan and Sayir, the blood that's covering you doesn't have a smell. It doesn't even have a taste. It barely has a weight on your body. It just kind of feels like nothing. Zainan, there's something inside of you, and every breath you take wheezes.
He is barely able to move or think, and still, Sayir, in your arm, you feel him reach for his rifle.
No.
We gotta check the cave. We gotta check the cave. We gotta check the cave.
I can check the cave. I can check the cave.
Sayir, check the cave. I got this.
Okay.
And Lumira's immediately at her knees at Zainan's side, like moving his clothes out of the way, checking the entry and exit. It went all the way through. Good, we can treat it. Yinghe, can you pass me my kit, please?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And Yinghe kneels next to Zainan, helping you, Lumira.
Knowing that the crescent blade did and can cut through the flesh, Sayir unsheaths Patience from the holsters around his torso and hands it to Yinghe, so that Yinghe can have a sturdy implement, because we don't have scalpels. If we need something sharp, the crescent blade will have to do. So I will pass the crescent blade over to Yinghe.
Yinghe takes it, but then hesitates. Wait, Sayir, if you're going to go exploring, you need a weapon.
Zaina needs treatment. You do not. Lumira does not have her implements. I won't go far.
Take this! And Yinghe takes like a piece of twisted rebar that they've scavenged from the ship and hands it to you.
Sayir holds it like a bat. Thanks. I'll be alright.
Be safe. And Sayir, you go.
Are you sure
Lumira.
I'm going?
Would you like to use your first aid ability to
Yes,
restore a hit point
please.
to
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna use those three of my provisions to remove
Okay,
that.
you had 5. We're bumping that down to 2.
2.
But it just works. Tell me what it looks like as you patch Zainan up.
I think Zainan, you already know severe wounds in the field, what Lumira has to do. So I think you instinct, and she's done it for you plenty of times in the field at this point. You just know to grit your teeth as she digs in gently, trying to see if there's anything that's broken off inside, if there's any like teeth that are remaining or anything that would stop this from healing up all the way once I closed it on his front and his back. So when she does that, she looks over to Yinghe and asks for for patience.
The blade.
The blade, yeah.
Yinghe hands it over instantly.
In my medical kit, I have to have a flint or something that can spark a fire, yes?
100%, sure. Yeah, this
Cool.
is one of the provisions you're using. Absolutely.
Awesome. So Lumira, she doesn't have any type of antiseptic or anything like that in the field, so she just takes the lighter, takes the fire, burns the tip of the blade just to make sure that it's clean. I'm sorry, Zainan. And we'll dig in, trying to sew the wound back together, and then we'll gingerly flip you over to do the back.
Lumira, as you spark a fire to sanitize the surface of this crescent blade, you see the black blood dribbling on its surface. And you see your own face reflected inside this sheer void. Not even void, less than void. This nothingness, this empty blood. But the face that looks back at you isn't your own. It is your own, but it's younger, much younger. It's the face you had when you first came to the Syndicate. A shocked, amnesiac, scared child. And then you blink and you are yourself again, and the blood evaporates. No, it doesn't evaporate. It just melts away like it wasn't ever there in the first place.
What? And I think just as quickly as she realizes it and questions it, she remembers the task that she has at hand. And the one thing that has always worked out for her in the past, work. The mission.
But Zynon calls her back to it because she said aloud, "Well, what's the matter? Ow! Fuck!"
Sorry. Nothing. No. Sorry. I just thought I saw something. It's fine. And she's
On
trying
me?
to No. I told you, it's fine. Don't worry. I'm sorry. And you feel a particularly sharp, nick tongue, in one of the stitches. I'm sorry. I just a few more seconds. And wildly enough, her hands have always, especially when she's healing, they've always been sturdy, solid as a rock. You feel them trembling against your skin, Zynon.
And he takes this not as fear for whatever he doesn't know she's seen, but concern and worry. And he just shuts up and lets her take care of him because he knows that comforts her.
Sayir,
Oh, yes?
you slide down this rocky drop-off, and your boots land on solid ground. But it's not even and level and flat like the earth outside. There are crenellations to it. It's rocky, cave-like. And as you proceed into this corridor, very, very, very quickly, what paltry light was left by the entrance of the cave vanishes. And soon, the only light that remains are the cybernetics glowing from your horns and your tail, acting as weak torches to illuminate your path. You see a corridor opening up in front of you, a wide cave tunnel. And you see, dribbling from the ceiling, teeth? Fangs? Oh, stalactites. Coming down in these long, conical shapes, these spears. And stalagmites growing out of the floor. Some of them only go up to your waist, some of them are taller than you, in these irregular directions, irregular shapes and sizes. This cave tunnel continues for about 30 feet before it branches off into various directions, all of them populated by stalagmites and stalactites.
The light that weakly illuminates this darkness around Sayir is a blinking yellow. It is almost the shade of orange, but it seems to be turning more still with each passing heartbeat. Instead of flashing violently, it breathes. And as Sayir moves about this cavern, he's hunkering low, keeping almost like a permanent crouch as he's moving, treating this cavern as inhabited until proven otherwise. And as we are walking, Sayir's using the rebar that Yinghe gave him and is making a couple of notches on the ground every few feet.
Oh yeah, to mark your path. Very smart.
The path. Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea. As you traverse... Go ahead.
No, I think you should tell me what's happening first before I decide whether or not to do this.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. As you traverse deeper into this cave, right before the corridor splits off in kind of like a Y formation, if you're on the branch of the Y and then the two arms come out, you notice that it's not just stalagmites protruding from the ground and stalactites hanging from the ceiling. There are things on the walls, too. Many things on the walls, actually. In addition to the rough stone of the cave, you also see branching, rocky, dead coral growing in clusters from the wall. Some of them have branches that are maybe a foot long, but others have branches that are so long they almost poke you from the side. They're like 7, 8 feet long. Each branch is quite narrow, however, maybe only at its largest the width of a person's arm. Some even narrower than that. And you can see the ends, the tips of some of these branches, and you notice that they're hollow. But what's inside is dark. Unless you really lean in and peer, you wouldn't be able to see.
I'm not putting my face into an opening. I'm a brown man. This is a horror movie. I'm not doing that.
Thank you so much, Val. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're right.
Thank you. You're right, and you should say it. You are
I
correct.
simply will not. I simply will not.
Survival
Are you
skills
sure?
1000. So smart.
I simply will not put my face close to what I will do. Seeing this is as Sayer is maintaining this crouch and moving. He is hesitant to move to any particular branches at this point. But what I'd like to do is use my strategic intelligence ability.
Okay.
Which allows when I investigate a threat or the possibility of one, I can make a grit check. For each success, I can ask the GM one question and receive an honest answer.
Okay, so the mechanics are very similar to the check that Zynon made, but we're doing grit instead of survival. So, you do not have situational advantage. You are not getting
do
assistance
not.
from someone else. Are you harnessing a relevant tool or power?
I can't.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, I can't. I think the most that if you would allow me, the most I would do is using the rebar to like. So you mentioned this kind of like hollow coral branches. I think Sayer, like approaching anything that might nest within a hole, like taps the side of the branch to hear if anything comes out of it.
Okay, sure. I like that. I would say you're harnessing a relevant tool, so that's 2d20.
2d20.
Would you like to burn any resources?
I would love to use my adrenaline that I have.
Oh, okay. So that's actually a good note because adrenaline dice expire after combat.
Combat. Okay, never mind. Bye-bye, adrenaline.
Yes.
So just 2d20.
Goodbye. Yes, 2d20.
Bye, adrenaline.
We're looking for a 12 and under.
That is 2 successes. Wow. Well done, buddy. That is 1 11 and 1 9.
Perfect. This is actually a great system for you, Val, because you always roll
It
terribly.
is. I do.
Love it. So, which of these 3 questions would you like to ask 2 of? What's the biggest danger here? What's my best way in, out, or through? Or who or what is most vulnerable to me?
It's probably the first 2. What's the biggest danger here, and what's my best way in, out, or through? We can't stay here forever. Is there a path past this cavern? That'll be great.
That's a really good point. So, for your first question, what's the biggest danger here? As you're using the rebar to kind of wrap on these arms, pretty much every single arm you tap, as soon as there's contact, it crumbles. These are dead exoskeletons of coral. They've been long dead, long dead. They just crumble at the slightest touch and crumple onto the ground like a plume of dust. But you keep checking just in case. And as you progress a bit deeper into the cave, as you tap one of these especially long kind of hollow tubes and it crumbles, something else falls out of it too. Something small, spherical, white, and glimmering. Do you try to catch it or do you let it hit the ground and roll?
I catch it. I think Sayer, the smarter thing to do would be to let it drop, but Sayer's been trained by Artemis and I think has done training sequences in the dark catching things. And there's this bit of glimmer and Sayer's gloved hand like instinctively reaches out to catch it.
You catch it. And as your fingers unfurl, you see a large, beautiful pearl.
Sayer looks at it and I think like studies it in the dim yellow light. Was about to put the pearl in the pocket where the oracle is. Pauses, puts it in the other pocket.
Wait,
You hear a muffled voice.
what was that? It smelled yummy.
Don't worry about it. We'll have Lumira look at it first.
Okay.
And Sayer, that wasn't the danger. As you get closer to where the tunnels branch off, you can see, illuminated by the cybernetic glow of your horns, there are more of these coral now on the ceiling of the corridor to the right. These corals specifically clump around the base of hanging stalactites. And they look almost identical to the coral on the walls, but if you peer a little bit closer, the surface of their exoskeleton looks darker than just the desiccated gray of the other coral on the walls. Almost like there were veins of shadow or just void running through them. But they're perfectly still. Perfectly still.
Sayer's mind flashes back to when Doom communicated through the dying screams of fear of these pilots, these traders aboard that desiccated ship, that vessel that they had passed through on their way to Kesseki before their own crash. And hearing, like, that's all Sayer hears in the, like, behind his eyes, like, in his mind, is that, like, radio static, and his hand instinctively goes towards the off and not working radio to, like, click at the knob, knowing nothing's gonna come up. It's like a baby blanket. Sayer is a tiny young buck in the, like, staring headlong into danger, and their parent is nowhere to be seen. There's no comfort.
The click of the broken button echoes through the cavern as you stare up at these different looking coral down the right corridor. And I will answer your second question: what is my best way in, out, or through? The other hallway.
Great. I will pivot. I think, like, Sayer sees that hallway, makes his own mark that will denote danger, and then move to, because this place is so dark, and then move to the other hallway just to see how far it stretches. He doesn't want to go too far.
It curves for a long time. You'd have to proceed for maybe another 2 minutes before really knowing if it branches off. So you could continue to explore or go back to your team at this point.
Two minutes is a long time. Sayer makes, and all the grooves that Sayer makes in the stone are deep. They're not meant to be mistaken for other ridges and other imperfections in the rock. He's using the very, very, like, human-made material to make these geometric shapes, ones that would feel unnatural, ones you could feel with your fingers in the dark. And I think he makes a note on that in the wall. There's, like, a bit of him that wants to go further and goes, no. Don't be foolish, you don't know what's out there. Come on, Sayer, use your head. Artemis wouldn't go too far from Nova. And will turn back towards Nova.
Okay. Lumira and Zynon. After Lumira's makeshift surgery, the harpoon has been removed from your body, the wound packed as well as it could be, stitched on front and back, and now wrapped with gauze. And there are empty packages and pieces of the provisions that Lumira had used to patch you up scattered all around your limp body, Zynon. Regain 1 hit point for me. You are stable for now, but what's littered around you is the detritus of so much of what you scavenged from the Kestrel, now used within the hour. And Lumira, as you kind of pack up your surgery table, your hands are drenched in black and red all the way up to your elbows. And the front of your body is also covered in Zynan's blood and more of that black ichor.
Lumira, for a moment, just kind of kneels back, like on her haunches. She was over Zynon and just stares at her hands, stares at the front of her, the pieces of gauze and stuff that's littered with this black and red too. And her eyes get so wide like saucers. She frantically starts to try to like rub her hands on her thigh, on the ground, on anything to get it off.
Yinghe kneels next to you and rips wordlessly a piece of their outfit off. They kind of scrunch it up into their hand and they start wiping you gently, helping you get the blood and the ichor off of your skin. And Zynon, as you watch Yinghe and Lumira work, your vision is still swimming. You feel a little cold and shaky from the blood loss, but you know you're okay, you're not going to die, and you're still conscious. And you notice something on the wall behind you and above your heads. A sign. That's right, a sign. Nailed to the stony wall of this cavern. And it reads in a script you understand very well. Private property of Raja Yomine Mining Corporation. Sorry, I messed up the name, 1 second. Private property of Raja Yowang Mining Corporation. A metal plate against the rocky wall.
And even in his somewhat delirious state, that name now, he sees that video used up resource. And the idea that these people, not just the Raja Yuan company, they took from something deep in here, and a flare, not only of anger at them, but just of anger, rips through him for a moment. Fuck!
Are you okay? Did a stitch come loose?
No. This used to be a mine for those fucking people.
A mine? Here?
Wouldn't it have been underwater?
Oh. Oh my god.
What?
This used to be a body of water.
The salt deposits, the curvature
The
of the
ships.
ledge, the ships.
Oh, the white salt, of course.
Is everything okay, Lumira? You've been a little out of it since we've been here.
I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Are you good?
Yes, I'm fine, but that wasn't my question. My question was if... And that's when you all hear footsteps coming from further in the cave, and Seir rises from that rocky fall off.
Seir, you are greeted by the light that now in this dim cave you see. Zynon's rifle, the scope on it has very subtle glow inside of the scope. and it flashes at you. You're muted.
You muted.
Oh, you are muted.
Excuse me.
Video
Come
is
back to
silencing me. Sayer like raises a hand and sees that Zynan's patched up and looks to Lumira. How is he?
He's fine. What'd you find?
2 branches further down. 1, bad news. There seems to be some sort of thing inside. I don't want to risk it. I made some marks along the walls. There's another path that seems open and maybe our best way through here. We can't stay here forever. But I didn't explore too far. I wanted to make sure we were close. And I found this. And Sayer goes into his waistcoat pocket and pulls out a glittering pearl.
Oh shit.
Found it when I was tapping some of these old dead coral, disintegrated. And I think he like lowers the pearl probably to your hand, Zynan.
Zynan, looking at it, something old and fierce within you flickers in recognition. This pearl is valuable, or it would have been valuable before the wasting struck. A luxury good, an item of status and wealth. Even a single one of these would have fed your family for a month.
Not sure what it's gonna do good here, but it's worth something. Someone.
I figured maybe might be useful further down the line.
Well, at least
Trade
now
with people
we know
who-
what they were mining for.
Yeah.
I think we should try to go further in. We're still too exposed here by the entrance of the cave. That dust storm is gonna blow right in here and bury everything.
Yeah,
I think
I
we
agree.
should follow the path Sayer laid out for us.
You good to walk, old man?
Oh, you're talking to me now. And
Right.
Zynan looks to Sayer the question that he's been filing away, bursting out of him in unkindness in this moment.
Right. I don't think I explained it. We'll talk while we walk. Come.
Zynan slowly pushes himself up. He is tired, angry, burning with this rage that I don't think you've ever seen, because that means having feelings and fire inside of him that he has refused to have. But the anger pushes him up.
Yinkla offers their unbroken shoulder, their unbroken arm, as a leverage point for you to push against and rise. They let out a little. Okay, here we go.
Careful.
When we get to a
I'm
safe
okay.
spot, I'll take a deeper look at your arm. Okay?
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I can heal. The splint is holding. You don't have to worry about me. We don't have much left anyway. Sayer, why don't you lead the way?
Sayer feels Sinan's fiery fury like a hot dagger right between his ribs of every perceived failure, and this is mounting on top of it. And as we walk, Sayer, still holding that rebar, following, and you see all the notches he has marked on the path that he is moving. And as we begin to approach the branching paths ahead of us, Sayer says to Nova, I have a father I've discovered. He is my creator. I think a domain, Doom incarnate, the source of my omen speaking abilities. He looks like a stag. Dark fur. Bunch of red threads. And at this point, Sayer's like, we're moving towards that path now, between the two branching paths. He's now entering the mouth of the open path that we are meant to travel on. And this is where he begins crouching again, feeling the wall, using the rebar to make notches on the wall that he can feel to know which path is forward. I haven't said anything because honestly, there really wasn't a good time to bring it up. And then puts another notch in. And this radio taps it. I was able to communicate with him. He gave me some warnings while we were on the ship. And now I can't. I can't sense the omens. Not through this anymore.
How?
Well, let's think of it this way. Now all of Nova has secrets, right? And Lumira is very pointed towards you, Zynon.
I don't know how. When we were in the kingdom of heaven, that is when they told me. You are my son, we are doomed.
Well, okay.
And he doesn't talk to me all that often. He doesn't talk to me at trans. He manifests it differently in Inferno, and I really... And Doom was everywhere in Inferno.
So they've been following us.
I think they're just a part of me, or come and go as they please. I don't fucking know. It's complicated, and I don't have the answers.
You're right. It probably is complicated, and Zynon says that to Lumira.
Lumira rolls her eyes. Can I use archaeology, please?
Yes, absolutely you can. Yinko has stayed remarkably quiet through this entire exchange. They did not look surprised at all when Sayer revealed this knowledge, and they were only looking towards Sayer with a gaze of support when they revealed this. Lumira, archaeology is a very similar skill to what Zynon and Sayer have both used, except this time you are making a wit check when you investigate the history of a place. This cove, I assume. So, make me a wit check. You have no situational advantage. You're not receiving assistance from anyone. Are you harnessing a relevant tool or power?
I think Lumira probably taps into a bit of chronology, just a little bit, just to...
Okay. Yeah, you pull on time magic a little to see what can be revealed about the past of this cavern. Love it. Would you like to expend any resources to help you?
Nah.
Okay, so that is 2 d20 total. We're looking for a 12 or under.
Oh, great. That's a 9 and an 8, so 2.
Oh, amazing. Okay, 2 successes. Lovely. So what does it look like as you're pulling on chronergy to help you in this investigation?
I think kind of making her way past Zynon and the rest of Nova, Lumira is feeling the walls a bit, reaching down and kind of feeling the dirt, trying to taste what she can of the air. And she just starts to push out just a little bit. And it's almost like she uses her left hand that's covered in the clock gears, and it almost looks like the gears that are painted onto her arms are starting to move and lock in place as she's just really, for all intents and purposes, doing a vibe check in relation
Yeah.
to like what the energy was of this place, what I can see going on, if that energy was fucked or not. That's what she's looking for.
Absolutely. So, which of these three questions would you like to ask? What secret, truth, or tragedy is buried here? What unexpected connection do I unearth? Or what discrepancy or dissonance eats at me?
These are all such really good questions. What the fuck?
You have to leave one of them out.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the first and the last one. What secret, truth, or tragedy is buried here? And what discrepancy or dissonance eats at me?
As your hands trail over the rough walls of this mine tunnel, occasionally making contact with the dead coral that just crumble underneath your touch, the clock gears click into place against your arm, and magic ripples out from you, a faint disturbance in the air around you. And as it ripples, Lumira, you see around you a ghost of a ghost, an echo of an echo of water. You see water in this space. You see your own hair starting to rise, the braids coiling upward, weightless within this liquid. And Zainin and Sayir, the two of you see Lumira's hair moving, but you don't see the water. You can sense, however, a kind of energy and power emanating off of her. And through your eyes, Lumira, which begin to get more and more pale, brighter and brighter as you're channeling into this power, you see the water rise, and you see a ghostly outline of a person, a diver, swimming forward as they're pushing through the air. They phase right through you, and they move deeper, and you see more forms swimming through this water, deeper and deeper. Some of them pause and float in midair next to, you see a dead hunk of coral, but as this ghostly figure reaches forward, you see them kind of tap at the extended arm of this coral, and a ghostly after image of the coral's arm opening like a ripe pea pod ready to burst as it unfolds, and they funnel pearls into a basket that they lift from their waist, and then they gently close the arm with all the love of a farmer tending to a crop. And they continue to kind of push and swim down. And you see so many of these divers, so many of these coral animals, which are also plants. And you can sense the life that was here, the oceanic, the marine life. This place was alive. It was a hub of commerce, of trade, of habitation. There were people that lived here, people that worked here, people that called this place home. And now it's all gone. The water gone, the pearls gone, the divers gone, your hair floats back down and settles next to your body. That is the truth of this place. It was once beautiful, and the wasting took it all.
Lumira kind of stops mid-step, and when she makes the realization, her head drops, her shoulders that are typically so stoic also drop in her body language as well. She just bangs the side of the cavern.
You alright?
Yeah. Just how many more people have to lose a home? And she just walks.
She leaves Zion standing there for a moment.
Lumira, as you walk on forward, Zion, you pause before continuing to follow. Sayer and Yinghe not too far behind. Lumira, I will now answer your second question. What discrepancy or dissonance eats at me? As you continue to churn at the chronergy around you, feeling the life that was now dead, passing and rotating like a cycle. What was alive, now dead. Alive, now dead. Here, now gone. As that clockwork gear turns, it hitches on something. A grain of sand, a discrepancy, something that doesn't make sense. It was alive, now dead, and now alive? No. No, there's something else, Lumira. This place is dead. But something lives in here. Something that is not yet gone. And we're gonna end the session there. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
No. You don't just end. You don't just end. Stop being cute. You don't just end. Ain't shit cute.
Who me?
And I left this.
I am your nice GM. I am your lovely, sweet GM.
You
I
anglerfish
am your...
murdered me. You can't say that after
You're
that.
still alive. Don't be so dramatic. Thank you all so much for tuning in to our
Did you get that hit point back or not?
Did you?
God.
Did you or not?
Oh
Friends,
my God.
I'm so excited to return to the world of the Chaos Protocol and for you all to venture even deeper and deeper and deeper, literally into the belly of Kesseki. But first, let's do some much-deserved introductions, starting with Valiant Dorian.
Hi everyone, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy the lovely treasure I just say you on. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing. I actually finally told the truth that I'm the son of Doom, Sayer, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm passing it over to the old man. How are you doing, old man?
Okay. I'm sure we're sure doing. I got lanced through by a scared monster today, so I'm A-okay. Yeah, you can find me everywhere with a Stalin Ledris. And yeah, I'm gonna pass that over to Sam. I'm in shock.
You okay? Outros. I know how to do this. I've been doing this for years now at this point. Yeah, you can find me all across the interwebs, more specifically at the place where butterflies do fly brighter. LUSTTFORLAFEEX. Find me there. Shit. Take us home, Connie. I don't got shit else. I don't know what to do at this point.
What are you talking about? We are home.
I
We're
gotta
at
go lay
Kesseki.
down.
It's great. This home is our home. It's a perfect, lovely home, and where nothing has gone wrong. So friends, everyone, as always, we will be streaming every Saturday at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time right here on Twitch and or YouTube Live. Thank you all so much for joining us for the continuation of Arc 4, and I truly cannot wait to reveal even more about Kesseki as the season hundles onward. Additionally, beyond the fiction of our stories, a reminder that we must stand in solidarity with peoples who are most affected by the ravages of climate disaster in the real world. So tonight, we strove to raise funds for Support Jamaica to provide food, shelter, medical aid, and relief to those affected by Hurricane Melissa. So thank you so much to everyone who gave during the stream to support Jamaica so far, and rest assured, we will continue to host these fundraisers throughout the arc. We're currently at 105. That's incredible. We broke $100 tonight. That's awesome. I just know for a fact we can break 250 next week. In the meantime, you can support our show by joining our Patreon, joining and participating in our Discord, making fan works if you are so inspired, posting about Transplaner on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Tumblr, rating our podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, buying merch from our merch store, and most importantly, telling someone about the channel. Your friends, your family, your barista, your dog, your cat, your Kesseki! So thank you so much, Transplay Nerds. I will see you all next Saturday, November 8th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time for the continuation of Arc 4. I'm so happy I got to do some critter time, and we didn't even see the critter. Just wait until you see the kinds of critters I've got prepared visually. In addition to... I almost said penetratively. And I guess I just did. Well, love you all! Bijo bijo. See you next week.